What's up? How we doing, guys? Good to see you. We are seeing a kind of market that we have not seen in a little while. Now, I am not going to stand up here, I guess, sit here in front of the camera and claim that we are in a trend market, because we are most certainly not. If you look at the daily of the New York sessions, bottom of your screen, we are still in a range market. However, with a brutal intraday bear trend. So, really easy rule of thumb here for me. On the 5-minute chart, top left is the 5-minute. Even though I'm going to be executing primarily off the 2-minute here today, I'm watching the 5 very carefully today. This is the 5-minute chart. Do you notice anything since this? This here, you notice anything at all with bull bars since this happened? I know one of you knows the answer. I will wait. What have we not seen, or what have we only seen, I should say, on the bull bars since that curl? About 15 minutes after the market opened. It's not about quantity, it's about quality. What is it? Does anybody know the answer? Calinow, how we doing? Well, I'll tell you what, I will just tell you the answer. Day Trade Tom, there he is. That son of a bitch always knows the answer, doesn't he? What's up, Tom? We have not seen anything but inside closes, right? Inside closes. Kevin, there you go. There you go. So, I'm not even thinking about getting long until we see at least a sizable bull bar that's not an inside close. All we've had is inside closes since that big curl 15 minutes into the bell. So, right now, I'm putting my head down, and I am only thinking scalp to the short side, scalp to the short side, scalp to the short side. I don't need to be a hero. Heroes in the market trying to time bottoms and trends do not make money. Okay, now you could say, well, hedge funds buy the bottom. Yeah, and then they wait 4 years. And then they make, 6% and all drink champagne and say, aren't we so good? Yeah, because you have $8 billion under management. You don't have to do very well. And you have too much money to even put to work in something that you could do relatively well on. Here, we have to do better than 6%. So don't be a hero. Okay, just trade the trend until the trend breaks. Now, that doesn't mean just get short anywhere, though, you could almost argue you could have gotten short basically anywhere today and made money. Of course, that's hindsight. We still want to take good price action setups, but I am not going to be a hero and say, I know how to time the bottom. No, I don't. I don't. The only way that I can even have a reason to believe it's going to reverse is if we get a nice strong bull bar, more ideally 2 consecutive growing bull bars that are not inside closes. You understand? All right. Now, I couldn't help myself while the loading screen was up. I did have to take one trade. Here, let me show you. This bar here, while the loading screen was on, I was sitting here waiting, and I said, oh, I got a short. Oh, here we go. I said, I have to short that close. So I shorted that close, made a little bit of money on a scalp, had to close it before we went live so we can start fresh. But here's where I currently sit. Right there. So that happened in the 5-minute loading screen, and that's where we currently sit. So let's call this starting fresh now, and let's get to work. What do you guys say? Yeah, Giovanni Joe, filthy, bro. Brandon, good morning. How we doing? Roy, past 5 25K evals this morning. Man, those 25Ks, get some payouts. Get some payouts. Those 25Ks can pay you. They're slept on. Everyone's like, I need the 300. Just get money in the bank and then worry about going as big as humanly possible. Obviously, that's the goal around here. We're trying to go huge, but to start going huge, you got to start getting money in the bank, right? That helps you bootstrap this and keep going. In trading, man, the ones who fail are the ones who quit. Because the ones who keep going have to adapt. Otherwise, they are forced to quit because they run out of capital. Whether it's to buy more prop accounts or to keep trading, right? All right, 50 seconds out from the close here of this 2-minute bar. Watching that little descending bear channel that we know is there. So I'm watching to see, hey, do the bulls have any kind of argument here? We took out the low on the 2-minute chart right here. Show you the better 2-minute chart. Do the bulls have any kind of argument for this kind of thing? Yeah, they do. They do, right? That doesn't mean I'm going to buy that. That's too hard to trade, in my opinion. Would I trade it on an eval? Yeah, honestly, I probably would, just because I'm way more aggressive on evals because opportunity cost is a thing. And when the business model works, the expenses, even if they get ramped up a little bit, it's like, who the hell cares? The ROI is still ridiculous. So, pretty clear, right? Ideally, I would like to short closes of bear bars in the higher end, at least above halfway, I'd say, of this little channel here. And I'd like to short strong bull closes. I'm not really looking to short down here, just because this is what we've been seeing. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's just, you know, price action here. In trends like this, you just gotta, you know, trade what's there until you get hit in the face with a bar. And then probably still trade what's there until you get hit in the face with a brick. And then maybe you start thinking twice. All right, minute 15 out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get. I'd love to see a nice strong bull bar closing near its high. And I'll bet against it again here. Again, same trade I took while the loading screen was up. But, you know, I don't know. I'll just put this out there. When the 5-minute looks like this, even if you're scalping, can you make money to the bull side? Sure. But, like, I hate to use the word easy in trading, but I will here because it helps explain my point a little bit better. Look at that 5-minute chart. Isn't it just a hell of a lot easier to trade to the short side until we get a bull bar that is no longer an inside close, right? Now, even when you get strong bull bars like this, it's like, wow, we haven't seen very many bars like this here. Are we maybe nearing a bottom? Yeah, maybe. Till that happens, I have to trade this until I get hit in the face. All right, so I'll put this curl up. There you go. And just take little scalps, man. That's all we can do. Now you can see, well, here, I'll show you this quick. See how we're not reclaiming highs? I mean, it's just a clear bear channel. Here we actually attempted to reclaim a high and then still faded. So, you know, I'm giving this trade a reasonable amount of room, but you know, I still want to cut it and reevaluate if we start claiming new highs, meaning taking out those couple of wicks that are in between my break even and my stop. All right, so we got to what, I think I saw 10.5, about 10.5 points in the green flash. That's fine. Could have taken it there, but looking for a little bit more here on this trade. Taz, good morning. How we doing? All right, here comes the rollover. Reasonable close, actually, out of the bulls. Relatively strong, but tell you what, still inside. All right, still inside of this wick. There's a reason my stop's right here. Sidonia, how we doing? right, they take it out. Yeah, not quite. Right, there's the attempt, taking out this little wick. Now again, the stronger these bull moves get, the more I start to think, hey, maybe are we at kind of a relief point? Maybe are we at some kind of bottom? Even that being the case, though, I'm still just watching the 5 minute. We have 52 seconds left until we get a close on the 5 minute chart here. There's where I stand on the 2 minute currently. This is the 5 minute. Now remember what we just talked about. If this happens to be the bar where we get an outside close, meaning above this wick here, right? Maybe about 92, 93-ish area. Then we start to look at this a little bit differently. Tony, how we doing? Good to have you. Oh, what just happened? Hold up. Copy trader issue, 1 second. There we go, are we flat? I've never had that happen once. All right, we're good. We're good. The copy trader protected us for the most part. But I gotta tell you, we took on way more slippage than we should have on that little stop. It stopped us out. Stopped us out of 12 contracts. And then for whatever reason, left us in 45. Okay, we're good. We're good, let's move on. Okay, so I have one winner so far on the day, one loser so far on the day. Now let's see if this trend, again, we just got, actually wait, let's revisit the 5. Yep, we got it. We got that outside close. So now we have to start looking at this a little bit different. Interesting timing here. Okay, looks like we might be getting some headlines here as far as tariffs on China. We'll see if we keep getting those. All right, 3 minutes, 30 seconds out to the close here of this 5 minute bar. Again, here we have the 20 EMA here on the 5. So if we get a second consecutive growing, it doesn't have to be growing, just nearly the same size. Doesn't have to be perfect here on the 5 minute. All of a sudden I start thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll enter with a stop limit to the long side. We are essentially at the break-even point on the day, very close to it. Inside close there on the 2 minute chart, by the way. Currently you're looking at a 5 minute. But this right here, this is a big deal. That's the first, since this curl, that's the first outside close we've gotten all day. Okay, so thus far here today, I gotta tell you, I think this bar is probably the most important bar that we've gotten all day so far. At least on the 5 minute chart here. Which makes this next bar equally as important. We gotta see how this closes. If it turns into a doji, all of a sudden the confidence from these bulls is wavering. It's not enough for me to get short again, but it sets us up for some potential here. All right, back to the 2 minute here. We're watching the 2, executing off the 2. Two trades so far, Vinny. A winner and a loser. Took some nasty. I assume what is to be slippage. It was a weird copy trader kind of error on the trade we took on stream here, which was the loser. That's kind of bizarre. Has anyone ever had that happen? What just happened to me on the Affordable Indicators copier? Because I have never had that happen. I've had the ghost order issue basically every day. It's never been a big deal. But this wicked up so quickly, like this bar, that it stopped me out of, for whatever reason, 12 of my micros, 12 of my 57, and left 45. That was just kind of bizarre. But it's all right. It's part of trade and prop. I mean, you're going to have these issues. Does it mess with the data a little bit? Yeah, definitely does. But, I mean, listen, the opportunity is the opportunity. And it's still a hell of a lot worth it. No, Kevin, it was random, man. It stopped. It didn't give me partial stops. It only stopped some of the accounts, but it stopped them out fully, and then it left full positions in the other accounts. But there really, I looked. There was really no rhyme or reason. But I mean, listen, I'm not too worried about it. All right, here's the rollover of the 5-minute bar. By the way, let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. Shrinking bull bar, clean close, but right into the 20 EMA on the 5. So now we got to watch this next bar. Keeping an eye really here on the 2-minute. Which is our execution chart currently. I gotta tell you though, volatility here so far today has been pretty nice. ATR is currently damn near 20 on the 2-minute chart, which is really, really good to see. We've been seeing about half that this time of day as of late. All right, so what we should do here is try to keep an eye on the 50% retracement. Which is going to be right about here, this region up here. Vinny took a small loss this morning, nothing major. Struggling slightly with my mental, but it's going to have to resolve at some point. Yeah, I mean, what I'm about to say might resonate with some of you and might not with others. But because I get it. Like in the early days, you need the money. And that is also what makes it really hard, by the way. People who don't need the money tend to get to profitability a little bit quicker than people who really need the money, because it's another emotional factor that decreases decision quality, at least with a big sample size of decisions. All right, bit of a wick on that bear bar, so we'll wait to the next bar, 2 minutes out. But eventually, I think a lot of traders come to the conclusion, I mean, it's been true for me, that you've proved to yourself that you're, you know, making money, you're profitable, whether you're trading prop, taking payouts consistently, whether you're trading personal and able to, you know, either pay some bills or make a living or a living plus excess out of that, you have a track record, okay? When you have a track record, the insecurity of I don't know if this is gonna work, it just goes away with time. And then eventually when you have red days, the genuine feeling is it's just trading. Oops, I followed my plan and I happened to not predict whether or not these candles would go up or down in the proper fashion today and timed it just right. Now that sounds silly because it's well, this is the livelihood, bro. You need to take it seriously. Of course, I'm right there with you. I take this extremely seriously. However, when you do your job that you know pays you over time and it happens to not work out, the way that I look at this is it's kind of a silly thing. It's kind of a silly way to make money anyway, right? Not meaning bad, but it's we sit and we okay, we have a statistical edge and we let the math play out. I don't know. It's just not that deep, I guess. You know what I mean? It doesn't say anything about you as a human. It says nothing about you as an individual, whether or not you predicted things or let me put it a better way, whether or not the sample size happened to fall in your favor today. Now, if you come in and you make irrational decisions and you break your rules, that says a lot about you as a human being. And you should be sad about that and mad at yourself about that, right? So, something to think about. But if you come in and you do your job in the fashion that you know you need to do it because you know that's how you're going to get to profitability, or if you're already profitable, you know that that's what pays your bills. If it doesn't happen to land in your favor today, who cares? It has nothing to do with you as a person. The sample size just didn't work out for you today. Right? I mean, do you think the casino owner looks at their P&L on the day, and if someone came in and hit him hard and they happen to be red on a particular day, do you think he goes home and has a few drinks and he's man, I don't know what it's all about? No, he's okay, who gives a shit? Send him a bunch of marketing, get him back here to lose it back. Because they know at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter, the P&L is gonna flip back to green. It's the same business model. You cannot take it personally, win or lose. You're just doing your job. All right, let's see how this closes here. The bears definitely have an argument for, hey, do we reject off the 20 EMA on the 5 and just continue to trend downside? Maybe. Maybe. Right now we don't have enough information for me to make a logical decision on that. But we could very soon here. All right, inside close on that 2-minute bar. Next bar, minute 57 out. You know what I start thinking now? Start thinking, hey, now that we're getting more bull bars mixed in, especially when we look at the 5-minute, does this turn into a sideways trading range? which I would say is relatively probable right now. So we got to keep an eye on that. I'm just curious to see how wide it defines itself as. Curious to see what happens if we break beneath, at least on the test, of 492-ish. Reason being, that's the wick low. On the 5-minute here, you see this? This wick low here. Let's see if that kind of becomes the defining region for the trading range, or if we widen way back out. Obviously, that makes decision-making look pretty damn different. Chris B, second day of being able to withdraw from Take Profit Trader. This time next week, I should have paid off all my resets. Good work. Good work. Hey, Chris, isn't it nice when that money hits your account in like 2 seconds? Pretty damn nice, isn't it? Yeah, Take Profit's a cool company. All right, inside close there on that 2-minute bar. By the way, guys, 90% off at Apex. That ends in 11 hours. Use code BIG, B-I-G. That'll give you 90% off, and you can pass in 1 day. Be funded tomorrow. This ends in 11 hours, literally today. So if you're still looking to scale up using Apex, you got to hit it now. Or gamble on what the next deal will be, but they don't get better than 90%, I'll tell you that. All right, 35 seconds out here from the rollover of this 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get. All right, so I gotta tell you, I mean, we're looking at this. This kind of thing is not unlikely. Okay, now I understand that. But still, I'm gonna have to get a stop limit sell ready. Place that guy, up a little bit. Place that guy right there and give this about 25, 30 seconds, see if we can get a fill. Now again, hey, you know, do we get a trading range? This kind of thing going on? Sure, maybe. Maybe. That's why in markets like this, you're typically not getting better probability than maybe 60%-ish. But that's a trade I got to put on if it gives me a fill. 5 seconds. Yeah, gotta pull it. No fill. All right, minute 20 out here. We have a rollover, a dual rollover. Top left, 5-minute chart. Top right, 2-minute chart. They will be lining up and rolling over at the same time here in a minute and 10 seconds. If we do get a nice clean bear bar near the low on the 5-minute chart, top left, then I will have to get an order ready to toss that on. So I will switch over here to the 5-minute. We're now looking at a 5-minute chart here on the execution screen. Chris, thank you. In some ways, it doesn't feel real yet. Chris is talking about 2 consecutive days of getting payouts from Take Profit Trader. It's very real, brother. That money's in the account. Imagine that, seeing success in the thing you've been working so hard at that never feels like it's coming. Well, I'll tell you what, it's coming. It's coming. For a lot of you guys. I think a lot of you guys are maybe in a boat where maybe you've never had money from trading hit your account. That's fine. Everyone's been there, of course, at one point or another. To the point where you're like, I don't even know I'm doing this. Probably never going to see that. Yeah, you will. Don't quit. Don't quit. All right, we'll place that. See that? Not an inside close. This is a 5-minute chart. I will give that 30 seconds here on the 5-minute chart. And if it can give us a fill, I'd want to be short. If not, maybe we're heading back into a range, and then I do not want to be sitting short. Five seconds here. Go ahead and pull that. No fill, no trade. All right, let's go back to the 2-minute chart and execute off the 2-minute from here. Now, by the way, back to the 5-minute for a second. You guys remember what we talked about here? Hey, you know, is it possible that we bounce off the 20 EMA and just reject and go lower? Yeah, it's possible. Well, I mean, that is what we're seeing as of right now. And I don't want to, you know, give all that credit to the 20 EMA. It's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, nothing more, nothing less. You know, but that seems to be what's happening here. We've had a few rejections there. Obviously, there's people watching it. It's not enough for me to just get short off the 20 EMA, by the way, but it's worth paying attention to. Back to a 2-minute here. All right, let's see if we get a nice low close out of the bears here. Inside close, no trade. Okay, now, first of all, I know that some people might look at this as some variation of like a bull flag. Maybe on a 5-minute chart. It's kind of aggressive, you might say, but I'm just... Look at the day, right? And I gotta tell you, until the reversal is just extremely clear, meaning they hit us over the head with a pipe, I just can't justify betting against that. right? I mean, when you're trading a trend, there is quite literally, as long as you're taking reasonable entries, maybe a little bit of built-in edge. Now you just have to manage things well, right? Now eventually the trend flips. Okay, maybe you catch a stop out, or maybe, you get a bigger bounce than you expected. You stop out, it continues downside. Fine, that's part of trading, but that doesn't change the fact that you're trading, with the... I hate the term the trend is your friend, because everyone likes to ignore the fact that most of the time we're not in a trend. So then people come in every day and they're like, the trend is your friend, and they're looking for the trend. That isn't there, because 80% of days or more are range days. Right, so we have to keep that in mind as well. But when you do see a pretty clear, especially a trend market, which again, we're in a range market, but we happen to have an intraday little trend here. So when you have that intraday little trend, you keep the range market in mind, but trade the intraday trend. Just don't make ridiculous 400-point asks out of the market, right? All right, 30 seconds out from the close here of this 5-minute bar. Minute 30 out from the close of the 2 minutes, so we'll keep an eye on the 5-minute here. So here's the 5-minute chart. Let's see how this bar closes. Yeah, bit of an... It's definitely not an outside close. Call that maybe a doji at best. Inside close back to the 2-minute here. See what the 2-minute has to offer. Ten says, how do you force yourself to stop out? 10, you care too much, which means you're trading too big. If it's too painful for you to stop yourself out, man, good luck. Good luck. If you can't stop yourself out, you got a big thing coming. Size down. Size down and you'll care less and you'll hit out. Yeah, look at these ugly little dojis, huh? All right, minute 50 out. Now again, hey, with the nature of seeing a range market for, God, months now, you got to keep this in mind, right? I mean, you know that people are probably looking at that. As tempting as it is to short this, if we got a strong bear close, which depending on the bear close, I still might do. For a stop hunt down here, right? You guys know I like to do that. I would like to have stop outs. I'm sorry, have stop hunting be part of a trade here, but it has to make sense structurally. And right now I know that there's a hell of a lot of bulls getting confidence out of this. Saying, all right, time to average down. Time to average down because I've been averaging down all day and this happened. Time to average it again. See, that 5-minute bar is basically a doji at this point. 53 seconds out from the close of both the 5-minute chart and the 2-minute chart. Another dual rollover here. This is a 2-minute chart. We'll see what we get on the 2-minute. All right, so I'm keeping that channel in mind, right? And I'm keeping the overarching bear trend on the day in mind as well. I'll give that 20 seconds. That is a sell limit. Yeah, it's not a stop limit buy, that's a sell limit. And give that about 12 seconds here, see if I get a fill. Selling above the wick high of the previous bar if I can. Got damn close, no fill. Gotta pull it. Gotta pull it. Yeah, 10. So, how did I know that's what you did? Oh, because I've done everything that every mistake you guys can and, have and will in the future make, I have made. Every mistake that you guys think you're the only ones that have ever done it, I have seen in 5 other of my students, including myself, because I did it all first. Because I was stubborn as fuck. There's nothing new as far as mistakes. We've all done everything. Okay, so when I say that, hey, if you trade a range market, blindly buying dips, and it works, when the trend market comes, you're gonna be in really big trouble. And everyone goes, yeah, we'll worry about it. And then they take a massive loss because a trend comes. Yeah, so just avoid that from the get-go. Understand that, hey, on the trend day, you can't just blindly sell pops and blindly buy dump-offs. Which is why price action reading is so crucial, and then understanding the context to the best of your ability. And if you get all that wrong, which we do all the time, because we're traders, and you're only going to be right a handful, or I guess slightly more often than you're wrong, assuming a 1-to-1, where I just make the numbers easy, you still have to manage your risk, because you're going to end up on the wrong side of what turns out to be a trend often. And then you need to have a point where you're like, okay, time to stop. Which comes from price action reading, right? Yes, Chad, is there any, scientific reason why I pull orders after either 15 seconds on a B plus or lower, or 30 seconds on like a A minus or higher, maybe B plus, more like A minus or higher? No, it's not scientific. I just want the idea to play out quickly, and if it doesn't, something has changed. And it's an easy rule. I don't have to think too hard. Now, could you leave it for 45? Sure. Could you leave the order for the whole bar? Yeah, but if you get filled in like the last half of the bar, in my head, things have changed, especially on like a stop limit entry. It didn't go in your favor all that quickly, which I'm not really into. So I guess I'd be willing to leave a, like for example, a limit sell above this to get short a little bit longer than I would, say a stop limit buy. For whatever reason, I wouldn't, but if for whatever reason I want to get long above that bull bar, that I want to happen quickly. I still want the limit sell to get short above this bar to happen quickly, but I guess I'd be willing to leave it for a little bit longer, though for me it's just 15 seconds on slightly lower quality setups, 30 seconds on higher quality setups. If you get no fill, pull it. We're scalping, right? I want things to happen quickly, ideally. They're not always going to, but it'd be nice. Yeah, calm down, Vin. It's all right. It's all right. Let me tell you something. If you have a 1-to-1 reward to risk ratio, just to make the numbers easy, if you lose 40% of trades and win 60% of trades, you are making a fucking shitload of money. You're making so much money, it's ridiculous. That is a very good statistical edge. But guess what? If you lose, put it this way, not to, compare trading to a coin flip, but it's an easy way to prove my point. Let's say you had a weighted coin, lands on heads 60% of the time, lands on tails 40% of the time. You think you're going to land on tails? If you sit there and flip it 1,000 times, how many times in a row you think you're going to land on tails? And how often are you going to have long streaks where it lands on tails? 40% of the time it lands on tails. You think that's going to happen twice in a row? Of course it is. You think that's going to happen 7 times in a row? You're damn right, with a big enough sample size. Those are losing streaks in trading. Okay? Keep your shit together. If you can't, the numbers don't lie. If you had such concrete data like that and you looked at it and you said, oh, I have an edge. Here's the probability of this amount of losing streak. Can my, trailing drawdown in a prop account or can my account in a personal account handle that? Yeah, I can handle that just fine because I'm trading relatively small or small enough to handle that. So you're like, hey, whatever, losing streak, fine. The problem is a lot of you guys have no idea what your data is. You have no clue. You don't even care. You don't track it. So the losing streaks get to you. Jason, good to have you, brother. Good to have you. All right, we got 55 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Ten seconds, Suge. Ooh, there's a little volatility. Again, I'm still looking at this. Or more so, I guess you draw like this, right? I'm going to pull that because now I want to look at this bar here. If we do get a nice strong bull close that's still kind of representative of this look here, I want to short it. Eric, what's the disadvantage to using tick bars? There is no disadvantage. Just another way to look at the data. Doesn't matter. It does not matter. I prefer time-based charts. That's just what I've always used. If you like tick charts, use tick charts. If anyone tells you you can only make money trading tick charts, fucking leave. Don't listen to them. It's just another way to look at the data. There's no advantage, there's no disadvantage to anything as far as what kind of visual representation you display the data to yourself in. It does not matter. It does not matter. You might take slightly different trades based on what you're looking at, but what matters is the data, whether or not you have an edge. That's what matters. All right, let's see if the bulls can give us a nice, reasonably strong close here. Put out a sell limit, one tick above those two bars, and if we don't get a fill, we'll move on. Give this about 10 more seconds. Ooh, no fill. Had to pull it. Had to pull it, man. We were at 20. Hey, Toby, how we doing? Good to have you. All right, we are 20 seconds out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. Again, a reasonable close out of the bulls, but still inside the previous little wick highs. And I would want to short that, but we're getting a little bit of a wick back here. Let's see if I can put something on. Doesn't look like it. Nope, not there. Doji. Next bar, 2 minutes out. And I will be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Just refilling coffee. Back soon. All right, we are back. I've never been to northern Germany, though I was in Munich maybe 15 years ago. Very nice city. Bruce, good morning. How we doing? All right, 30 seconds out. Let's see what we get as far as a close here on the 2-minute chart. Ten seconds. Inside close here, next bar, 2 minutes out. Gains, yo wrench, I've had my biggest trading day. I've done my biggest trading day so far, I think you meant to say, and I want to stop, but I still think I can get into some good trades. Don't want to lose this. You're in an emotionally fueled state, Gains. I think you should walk away. I think you should walk away. You're feeling very protective over your stash, and there you go. That's your signal to walk away. Let yourself come back to baseline. On an emotional scale of 1 to 10, if you're above a 3, you need to leave. Shut it off, go to the gym. The time to keep trading because of the understanding that data is data, and if you have edge, you technically should beef up the sample size more, right? That only applies if your decision making is unchanged. So, a lot of you guys are going to get to the point where, you're up a few $1,000 and you feel nothing. That's just part of the game, and then you should keep trading as long as your schedule is open. You're not hiding away from your family or doing something like that. But if you had your biggest trading day so far and you're looking at it from the perspective of I don't want to give this back, your decision making is going to suffer. It will, okay? Even if you don't think it is, it's not going to be the same. So it's time to leave. Let today be your biggest trading day ever and just reset tomorrow. Don't have some weird pressure like yesterday was my biggest day ever. I don't want to have to look back on this and say, oh, I gave it all back the next day. No. Just come in and do your job. Let the chips land as they may. If you have an edge, it doesn't matter how they land today only regardless, right? All right, we're 1 minute and 10 out from the close of this 2-minute bar. Let's see what we get. Obviously, I'm still looking at this. We know a lot of people are watching this. However, the lower we get here, the more I'm also looking at this for a stop hunting mentality. So that is down at about 437. Okay, 45 seconds out. I really would like to hunt those stops. But the only way I'd be willing to bet against this little bear channel reverting back right into the channel, bulls taking it right back up, which they're trying to do right now, is if we can get a strong bear close where I think taking out these stops down here starts to take precedence a little bit. So let's see what we get here. 25 seconds out. All right, give that about 20 more seconds here and see if we can get a fill. That is a stop limit sell. Now again, I'm still looking at this. If the bulls take it right back up there, then I don't necessarily want to get filled, which is why I'm using that particular order on this trade here. See what we get. A few more seconds, not going to get a fill. All right, pull it, move on. No trade. Yeah, you know, Joe, if I sell at the top of this channel, I don't think I'm going to hold through for a stop hunting mentality because I want that to happen quick, and I would still think that we're probably going to see some hang up on the low end of this channel. So if I am, the first part of your question, or I guess your statement, yes, I'm 100% willing to sell a strong bull close near the top of this channel. However, I would pull it for a scalp relatively quickly. All right, 38 seconds out. Let's see what we get as far as close here. Alert, how we doing? Nice strong bull close. Got to sell that roll over there. I'll suck my stop up and we will place it. This is my protective stop. Suck that in a little bit, place that there. And we'll leave the take profit as is. Again, those are protective orders. And we are driving manually. Let's see if we can just kind of fade back down to that channel. Now again, the channel as this currently exists, I would probably draw it somewhat like that, right? Okay, so I still really like my entry here. But if we start cracking wick highs, then all of a sudden something's changing, which is why my stop's where it's at. Devani Joe, same trade. Yeah, it's a reasonable spot for the stop. Just have my protective orders a little bit more room. But it's because I'm trading small. We have 57 micros across the accounts here. Oh, man. There was ever a time for this song to come up, man. Little push. Emery says, why are you on 2-minute candle? Because I like the 2-minute chart, brother. There's nothing magic about a time frame. It's just the formula you prefer for quality of setups mixed with quantity of setups. On futures, for me, I think the 1-minute chart gives you a higher quantity, but quality tends to suffer a bit. The 5-minute chart is pretty damn good quality as far as setups are concerned for price action, but, you know, the average trade duration is a little bit longer. And the quantity of setups is a little bit low. So, you know, when we can, I like to trade the 2-minute. We had to trade the 5-minute for a little while here on stream just because volatility was so low that the 2-minute was all wicks. All right, reasonable close there out of the bulls. But still haven't kind of retaken this high here. Obviously, that's kind of the first checkpoint as far as I'm concerned for the bulls. Got to see if they can give us a close kind of above that high. This wick high, that is. All right, we got a minute 25 out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. All right, there's the rollover. I mean, inside close, kind of an ugly close for the Bulls. Next bar here. Gonna take it bar by bar, minute 50 out. Yeah, Jose, it's pretty close. 5.7. You know, a micro is well, at least on NQ and MNQ. A regular NQ contract is 20 bucks a point, right? And a micro is 10% the size. All right, 15 seconds out until the close here of this 2-minute bar. Yeah, so on the 5-minute chart, currently the 20 EMA is at about 491. That's obviously been in mind, though I'm not looking at that as some kind of saving grace. I just know it's there. All right, Bulls stepping in. Well, there's the test, by the way, of the 20 on the 5. That's a strong bull bar there. Here. I want to look at the 5 minute after this. But I want to show you guys if I get stopped here. Yeah, the bulls are going to pop that through. There we go. Okay, we're flat. Okay, so what I want to look at here is the 5 minute chart. You see this? I mean, I would start calling this a flat, which, I mean, still, stop hunting down here would be a beautiful thing. But we got to keep an eye out here. Hey, does this kind of thing turn into a wedge? Maybe start to see this? Those are my two questions right now. We have 2.5 minutes until the close here of the 5 minute bar. And I gotta tell you, as strong as that looks, due to the possibility of those two things, again, hey, do we end up with kind of a flat top, big wide channel? Hey, maybe a little wedge here. Due to those two things, I gotta be hesitant as far as getting long on this bar. Even though in a trend market, that'd be a beautiful bar to get long on if it closed as it stands right now, which we'll see, of course. Okay, it's a new 2 minute bar. So back to a 2 minute here. All right, so that is 2 losers in a row. So let's move on. Zachary, 2 losses. This is when the haters come out. Man, let them come. Let them worry more about my trades than their own. That's all right. All right, let's switch to a 5 minute here because I do want to watch this close. All right, now again, this idea is becoming less and less relevant. Still, you could make this argument. Boom. Beautiful stop limit buy place. Give that about 30 seconds. See if we can get a fill. Now again, hey, does this turn into a full-blown channel? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that right there's 30 seconds. Got to pull that. All right, let's go back to a 2 minute. And see what we get here on the 2 minute. $50 seconds out here. Yeah, okay, so Joe, this is also what I'm looking at. Hang on, let me show you in a sec. We got 12 seconds here. Let's see if this 2 minute closes with any reason. No, gonna roll over as a doji, almost a damn near perfect doji. All right, let's go to the 5. There's a push, huh? Okay, so here on the 5, you know, as Joe was saying, yeah, I'm looking, if we can get it closed like 520 or above out of a 5 minute bar, hell, I mean, even a 2 minute bar, I'd be all right with. It's the same data that we're looking at, right? Just represented a little bit differently based on time frame. A close, a nice strong bull bar closing above 520, I would be interested in getting long. However, we have to consider the fact that that doesn't necessarily mean we're reverting right back to the high straight up. We could definitely enter a bull channel that ends up doing this. It's actually relatively likely, okay? Now, that doesn't necessarily stop me from making the trade. However, it makes me more willing to give it breathing room. So I would still trade my regular 57, but widen things out and give it more room. Treat it as a bigger swing with a slightly bigger target, right? All right, here comes the rollover on the 2 minute chart. Yeah, you can see maybe bull's a little hesitant around this little high. Again, this is what Joe was talking about. All right, back in 2, just refilling coffee. Don't go anywhere. All right, we are back, baby. And it's okay. So we're a minute and 20 out here from the close of this 2-minute bar. And I gotta tell you, right here is this high. This high here. So if we do get a nice, I don't necessarily want to get long right at the potential double top, but if we do get a nice pullback, strong bear closing near the low, right now I'm thinking I would like to buy that for a retest of that double top and then look to see if we can get a bit of a pop through. Which essentially would just be a bet against the double top completely holding and putting us right back into this. Right. Now could that happen? 100% certainly could happen. But that's a pretty wide channel. I imagine the bulls at least want to see a retest first. There we go. All right, I will get long there, and I will stick my management. Actually, I'm going to stick it. I want to keep in mind that 20 on the 5. All right, we'll put the protective order there. Let's see if we can get a bit of a pop through. And looking at that 520 area. All right, bulls, let's give us a little retest of that double top. See if we can get a little pop through. Yeah, I tell you, if that flat top, flat bottom, kind of double top, double bottom channel holds and pulls all the way back down to like 455-ish, I'd be pretty damn surprised. That's just very, very clean if that ends up being the case here. You know, by the way, risk on this trade is really only about 20 points, which is very much so within reason. Pretty damn tight, actually. All right, ATR currently here on the 2-minute chart, by the way, is in the 9s. So it's about half what it was when we started the stream here. Which is, you know, not tremendous, but that's fine. Yeah, by the way, for those of you guys trading evals today, I see a lot of you guys talking about evals. This deal at Apex, 90% off single day pass. This ends today. This ends in 10 hours. So use code BIG, get 90% off, and you can pass in a single day. Otherwise, you are gambling on whatever the next deal might be. Again, that ends in 10 hours. Shocker, no. No, we're trading price action. That was one factor, though, of the entry. There's never one reason for an entry. If there is, I think that's a problem in most cases. There's a bit of a pop, huh? Big attempt at a pop through. Keeping an eye out to see if we just got a headline. Pushed up to about 24. So that wick there, it probably took out some stops. Which, you know, I mean, that's not tremendous to take out those stops on kind of a wiki news-ish bar. Wanted to use those stops. That's all right. Give us maybe an extra 4 or 5 points, which is pretty much to be expected around that, you know, this kind of level here, based on how long it's been a thing. Damn straight you are, Vin. About to buy a 25K account with code BIG. Trump says India may pay tariffs 20-25%. Yeah, I mean, ATR, it's pretty damn low, I mean, if we're being honest, but this is what ATR has been this time of day for, well, at least the last few days. At least, you know, yesterday and last week. What's up, Redneck? How we doing? Good to have you. Right, if this turns into a little sideways trading range, get this little bit of a push. Here, if we look at the 5 minutes, this actually becomes a lot more clear to look at. If this kind of thing starts to really play out, this may tighten into a range just because you have the 20 EMA here, and we get deeper into the day, volatility starts to slow. But again, I gotta tell you, if this kind of thing happens, if we see this happen throughout today, that would really surprise me, because that would be an extremely clean double bottom, double top channel. And those really, I mean, they don't happen all that frequently, at least not to this degree of cleanliness. Good to have you, Poker. Hope to see you become a regular in the chat, brother. Yeah, Alert, I gotta tell you, that news bar kind of did me dirty in a way. Took out those stops, kind of stole my rocket fuel. But I mean, that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, just let it play out. I mean, news is part of trading, you just kind of gotta work it into your data. Yeah, David, I mean, for the most part, but I take breaks. I'll cut it early if I don't feel like trading anymore. Though that's rare. But at the end of the day, this is a data game. Which means you want to beef up the sample size to the best of your ability. As the decades go on, as you get older, usually people will trade for a shorter period of time. Not only because their decision fatigue happens more quickly, right? But their priorities also shift. So when you're young, I think trading for longer is probably, you know, better if your goal is to just make more money. As you get older, as the decades go on, you might find yourself only trading for, you know, 90 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours in the morning. Maybe till noon or so, and then heading out. But I don't know, man. I mean, the market closes early enough in the day where it doesn't feel to me. I mean, the time flies when you're trading anyway, so it doesn't really feel like a. Obviously, you're fatigued by the end of a trading day, but it doesn't necessarily feel like a full-blown work day, like you might be used to if you work a regular 9 to 5. All right, let's see if this stops us here. Highly probable. There we go, we're flat. Okay, now we're flat. All right, guys. Kind of a below average morning for me. Not thrilled about it. Oops. Not thrilled about it, but you know what? Can only do what we can do, man. We're getting a few news bars here and there. Kind of messing with things. I guess right now, for me, it's time. I'm going to go hit lunch. And I'll come back, sit down, trade for, I guess, a couple more hours myself in the afternoon and see if I can clean the day up a little bit. I'm still well within risk parameters on the day. It's just more so, you know, things are kind of slow. And, you know, it's never great to have a below average performance, but we had this conversation earlier in the stream, right? I mean, losing 3 trades in a row, you're going to lose 8 in a row. You know, take a weighted coin flip it 1,000 times. How many times does it land on the slightly less weighted side in a row? And how many instances of that are you going to get? If you don't believe me, ask ChatGPT what those numbers are. It's going to give you a lot of quote-unquote losing streaks, but it's also going to give you a hell of a lot of winning streaks. Remember the 12 trade winning streak we went on not too long ago? It's going to happen to the losing side too. Likely to a lesser degree, right? But it's going to happen. It's part of the game. So, all right, guys, hey. Apex's big deal, 90% off single day pass with code BIG. That ends in like 10 hours. So it ends today. So if you're trying to beef up, I think I'm actually maybe going to buy some more evals just so I have them and hit them in some afternoons here and there and try to beef up the account, you know, roster a little bit. So yeah, I'll take advantage of those while the 90% is here. And then Take Profit Trader, by the way, still, I think they're crazy. They're still running the 40% no activation fee deal from the 4th of July. I imagine they're probably going to pull that at some point. That's the same code, baby. Code BIG. All right, guys. Relax. I know a lot of people are kind of looking at today's price action, upset about it. Listen, just do the best you can, make the best decisions you can in the moment, and accept how the chips lay. Okay? There is no room for emotional individuals in this game. I know a lot of people come in, they're crying because they lost 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trades in a row. As long as you're trading your plan that you know, hey, has some merit, it's paid you in the past, you have reason to believe it has a statistical edge, there is nothing to cry over. What are you going to sit here and cry over spilt milk? Oh, I lost 3 trades in a row. That's the game, man. What happens when you lose 9? Give yourself some grace, do the best you can, trade your plan, and the winning streak will eventually come. And then you can't get too high on that either, because that's equally as dangerous as getting too low on small little losing streaks that are going to happen a tremendous amount of the time over a 40, 50, 60 year career, right? Going to happen a lot. All right, guys. Have a great afternoon. Be patient. Wait for the trade to come to you. And when it does, fucking hit it hard. All right, guys. Have a good afternoon. See you tomorrow morning. Subscribe.